those of you who have been following the Siege updates slash drama, you'll know about the Save Siege movement and how the state of Siege is in a really bad spot, as per usual. Like, I'm honestly not surprised at this point. But we have also got recent updates from Ubisoft about changes coming and what they're doing about the situation. And I just wanted to address that and kind of how I'm feeling about the entire situation as a whole and where I'm at with it. Because if I'm being completely honest, I have lost pretty much all hope in Rainbow Six Siege to the point where I am actively trying to separate myself from the game and pursue other career paths slash options, which sucks. That sucks to say, but it's really how I'm feeling at this point in time. And I feel like that will only change if the game actually gets better, not just from Ubisoft saying that they're going to do what they say they do, because they've said that for years and that hasn't been the case. So I actually recorded this whole video just off the cusp yesterday, and then after doing so, I realized I missed a bunch of things I wanted to talk about, so I ended up going back and scripting out this entire thing. So instead of this me being just talking about how I feel, it is going to be still that, but it's going to be me reading it because I want to be clear about what I mean by what I'm saying, and I want my point to get across the best way I can. So I'm going to be giving my unfiltered feedback and feelings on Rainbow Six Siege and what needs to happen for me to enjoy the game again. Because Ubisoft doesn't have my trust, you know? At this point, I don't have a lot of hope for them getting it back, but that's the plan. So with their recent announcement, Ubisoft talked about putting more resources into anti-cheat, some balancing changes, a ranked overhaul, and they touched on the new content, or lack thereof new content, in the past 2 years. Normally, this would be somewhat exciting news to me, but this is the first time I've received news from Ubisoft and actually straight up just not felt a single thing. The level of apathy I feel right now is at an all-time high. They announce it and there's no change in my brain chemistry whatsoever. I just straight up don't believe the words they're saying anymore. And that's because they've made so many promises that have not been lived up to. They have oversold and overhyped everything, and it's got to the point where I just don't believe what they say anymore. And the most demoralizing nail in the coffin for me was Shield Guard that came in Siege X. Cheaters have been ruling the game for over 2 years, non-stop for 2 years, maybe a small portion in between there where you get a couple weeks of cheater-free gameplay, and outside of that, the whole game is just terrible at the highest ranks, right? So Shield Guard was supposed to come with Siege X and be the ultimate cheater defeater, and turns out the cheats were live and active on the second day of the new season of Siege X. And also, cheats reached an all-time high that season because the OBS cheat was a thing, so people could do it with just OBS as well as all these other cheats, so it just stacked up to a point where cheats are worse than ever in a season where they're supposed to be non-existent, right? Or at least way down from what they were. Siege X came with what I would call major changes for the wrong reasons. Dual Front was the new mode, which required a ton of work, a massive new map design, and having the same operators interacting on different sides at the same time. The concept is crazy, and I still think the mode is the best arcade mode that the game has had, but at the end of the day, that's it. It's an arcade mode, right? It's kind of just this extension of the main game with similar pacing, a similar style. In my mind, it's just a worse version of core Siege. This was the biggest feature of Siege X, and it didn't impact the main game at all. Then we also got modernized maps, but only 5 of them. It's another half-prepared release of content that is still lingering out of production season after season. But we'll call each new modernized map that's added new content, despite the maps feeling nearly exactly the same. I'll be the first to admit, the original 5 maps, I was really hyped about it. I was excited. I was pushing this. I was like, guys, you're gonna love this. It's gonna be great. The UB propaganda was working in full effect on me, okay? The new lighting was so sleek. The environmental destruction of the gas pipes and the fire extinguishers was so cool, and something, honestly, I was like, this should have been in the game the whole time, so it's a great new addition, right? Then, after a couple weeks, I had realized that the core gameplay was actually exactly the same, and I felt like I was playing the exact same game that I had been playing for the 2 previous seasons. That also had no content because they were working on Siege X, only for it to not really feel like it had any new content. They didn't even make balancing changes because they wanted to see how the destructible ingredients in the Clash buff would change the meta, knowing shields were extremely broken and annoying leading up to the release of Siege X. But now with Clash, that's not a problem because she's the most broken defender in the game, until you play her for a single round and then she gets permabanned by the other team and all of a sudden shields are a problem again. Another great feature was the pick and ban system, which I do think is one of the best changes with the season, but once you take that and the new audio overhaul and all the other changes together, Siege X is really just like one big Operation Health again, right? Fixing bugs, fixing past issues, and touching it up so the game is decent. But these changes are not why people are complaining. The audio overhaul is amazing, the modernized maps are great, the pick and ban system is also really good, the Clash rework, great, a little strong, but great, you know? All these changes are really, really solid. It's the framing of them which is giving people issues. We're framing this as the greatest update of all time, Siege X, year 10, it's going to be amazing, it's going to be awesome, you're going to wait for it for 2 seasons because it's going to be so good, and then you're just delivering like this quality of life update that has no actual content for players to enjoy. Like there's nothing new about the game. Excuse the screaming children in the basement. It feels like a gimmick, like a magic trick. Look over here, and then you flip the thing, and it's like fancy glitter stars. And then you look a little closer, and you take a little more time, and you're like, this is a piece of polished shit. This was shit the whole time. I didn't even know. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It feels amazing. You can even inspect your gun, and then you actually play it for more than 5 games and realize it's the exact same game. These changes make the game way better. The game is way better after Siege X, but people don't feel the changes, and that's the problem. The game doesn't feel different, and when you make the grandest of promises, it doesn't matter how good the changes are if you don't live up to the expectations and the hype that you created. Siege X did not do that, and that's why people are pissed off. And my mind just keeps going back to Dual Front. Every single time. The decision to invest so many resources on that game mode instead of like modernizing all the maps or working on the core Siege mode, they decided to pour them all into this instead. A casual arcade mode. Which now means instead of getting new maps each season, we get modernized maps and catch up on content because we were too invested in other things before to do it then. I don't think this mode should exist. It will never be as good as 5v5, and even if they added a ranked mode to it, I still wouldn't play it. You know, some people will, and I think there are people that like Dual Front, like genuinely enjoy playing it more than the regular mode even. But just from what I've seen through comments and personal feedback, it just doesn't seem anywhere near as popular as the 5v5 mode. And it shouldn't be. But I don't know, maybe Ubisoft has the stat sheet in the back and they can let me know if people are actually playing this game mode or not. To be clear, I like the game mode. I think it's creative, I think it's interesting, I think it's smart to like combine the defenders with the attackers and give players something new to play with. I just feel like it's also the misdirection of resources that should be instead invested into the core game. Like I don't think it's worth taking away from the core game to make this other game, essentially. But you also have to understand that there are different departments that work on different things. So the map team for Dual Front would also be the map team that makes the maps in the core game. I'm not entirely sure how these departments are all separated and categorized and labeled, but you can't just expect Ubisoft to take every single department and be like, hey, you fools, more anti-cheat. Like, that's not how it works. These people signed up for this job because they can do that job. If they can do maps, they probably can't do anti-cheat and vice versa. But you can be like, hey, Ubisoft, take more money and put more resources into this team, like anti-cheat, for example. This is what I presume is going on now with them saying, oh, we're putting more resources into anti-cheat. But we don't know really for sure what that means because they won't go into detail because like, oh, we can't let the cheaters know, which like, I get it. The only problem is that they really could just be saying that for all we know. And here's the thing too, like even with Shield Guard for Siege X, they probably already did that. They probably actually did invest more money into the anti-cheat team, but they just lost the battle, right? Okay, so the case could be that Ubisoft went into a war against 1,000 trained soldiers of cheaters, only to bring 100 civilians with pocket knives, right? Even if they doubled their resources in anti-cheat, even if they doubled their army to 200 civilians, they're still gonna get their cheeks clapped by the 2,000 cheaters or 1,000 cheaters or whatever. They're just not gonna win the war. But from our perspective as players, we don't even see what's going on. We just see Ubisoft lost the war. Cheaters have won. We are cooks still, right? So when Ubisoft says they're investing more resources, they are probably actually doing that. But if it doesn't win them the battle, the players don't see the results. So I'm not blaming Ubisoft entirely. I just want them to win the fucking war. more, you know what I mean? And once you realize Ubisoft's anti-cheat team is just a small group of devs, right, as many as they have hired, up against all of the cheating communities of the world, using AI, working every hour of the night to try and crack their code, it's just an uphill battle, right? They just don't stand a chance. And that's not really entirely their fault. It's also like a community issue too, right? So I understand the people that say it's not Ubisoft, it's a community issue. I understand the line of thinking with that, because realistically, like, what are you gonna do against thousands of cheating soldiers trying to break your anti-cheat at all times? That's why we see legal action being taken by Ubisoft and other methods for dealing with these cheaters. They're also targeting the cheat makers instead of the cheaters, which in my opinion is the right strategy to do. But still, the more resources and anti-cheat, the better, because they won't just catch cheaters, they'll stop the cheats from being available in the first place. The 100 civilians are not trying to go and fight the 1,000 trained soldiers. Instead, they're going directly for the head generals. And that's how you do it. This is good. This is what we need more of, right? Here's the thing. If the most competitive ranks of a competitive game are corrupt and unplayable, those players are just going to leave. These are some of your most loyal customers, your biggest fans, and your most important player base for the longevity of the game. The higher ranks is what the competitive players of your competitive game are playing for. If you don't take care of that ecosystem, your game dies. It's the same reason why top champs, like some of the highest champs in the world right now, aren't actually that good. They just cancel against champs and play emeralds and diamonds whole time because the rank 2.0 matchmaking is terrible. And they're fixing this, quote unquote, they're fixing it, like as per whatever, and we'll see if that is actually true or not, but that's also an issue, right? Now, not everyone's a competitive player, and that's exactly why we also need to take care of casual players too. Both groups are equally important if these are the two groups that you're trying to cater to. You're trying to make the game casual, but you're also trying to keep it competitive. We can tell by the balancing and the changes that we're trying to do both at the same time, so take care of both groups, or give up on one completely. I don't care. Give up on competitive, I'll just quit the game along with half the player base, you know what I mean? Now, this doesn't mean everyone is important, and this is the next thing I want to talk about. Ubisoft is trying to constantly please everyone all at the same time. And if there's anything I've learned, it's that trying to make everyone happy makes nobody happy. I feel like most people already know this. Here's the thing, Ubisoft. Rainbow Six Siege is your game, and you can do what you want. That doesn't mean what they do is good and the best choice for them, but they can do it. They can do it. I just think Ubisoft has the framework completely backwards. Look at voice moderation, for example. We can't even swear in an 18+ game because Papa Ubisoft says, that's mean. You can't say mean stuff in our game. Are you serious? A lot of people take video games as their outlet for their rage and their issues. Like, let's be honest for a second. Being mean on the internet, I don't advise it, but I'm not against it to this degree. Let people swear. Let them be mean. Guess what? We still have a mute feature. This is why it exists. We need to let people make their own decisions. Now, I don't agree with people that act like assholes on the internet, but I can at least have the insight to see it from their perspective. They see games as an outlet, as this sort of therapy for themselves, and that's how they treat it. So while I don't partake in it, I can see why people do, and I don't think that's inherently wrong or bad. You have given the players to deal with these type of people if they so choose. You have the mute button, you have the ping system, and you can turn all chat on or off or whatever you want. But now you've taken the choice away from people, because now if someone says, hey, shut up, you're fat, your mom is ugly, and you suck at the game, shithead, then they're getting fucking insta-banned. You know what I mean? Oh, I said fuck, oh, ban me, Ubisoft, oh, blah, 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 blah. This isn't Dora's Treehouse of friendship and fun. It is a game where you literally walk into a building and shoot people in the face and kill them. That is the game that we're playing. You are killing people. You are blowing their brains out of their head. But saying fuck or shut up gets you in trouble. And here's the worst part about all of this. If you have people who are quitting your game because you're not blocking every mean message possible from coming through, and they can't handle it, so they have to quit the game because someone said that they suck, let them leave. This is the tiniest portion of players, and you're driving away more of your player base by implementing this system that says you can't say what you want and you can't be mean ever again in a game that is 18+. It doesn't make sense at all. Ubisoft is trying to constantly appeal to everyone, and it's destroying the efficiency of their development. There's no clear path, there's no clear identity for the game anymore from Ubisoft's side. It's just like a blend of slop that they're constantly trying to navigate through season after season. Think about it. Are there any changes that they've taken away from the game that they later on put back in the game and then labeled as new content? Remember when Defenders had ACOG scopes? What about when we got rid of those ACOG scopes and added 1.5s instead? Oh, and then remember when they got rid of the 1.5s and 2 times and then added ACOG scopes back and went, new content, voila! Oh, here we are again. They took them all away again. What are we doing, dude? Where are we going? And don't even get me started on Striker and Sentry. These guys are just recruits labeled as new content, packaged and pushed out for a season. Wow, all these changes are such creative innovations of the game. It's almost like they're constantly changing their mind about it all the time. But Pox, it's balancing. They're making it more balanced because of the meta shifting and the new operators. And if that's the case, tell me why it's always the scopes and the secondary shotguns that equal balance. Why not change the actual operator abilities to make them good? Okay, we'll add another Malusi Banshee, so your sight setup takes 30 seconds into the round now, because she also got a secondary shotgun. Wow! You guys remember Solus or Nock? Those characters were awesome. They were fun. They were exciting to play. Now Nock's ability does fucking nothing without Silent Step, and Solus's ability is basically useless too. Oh, but guess what, guys? Solus is getting impacts back. New content! Oh, enjoy! I'm frustrated, dude. This is just pure emotion pouring out of me. It's been years of this. I'm not saying they shouldn't make these changes. They should absolutely revert terrible changes like removing Silent Step or nerfing Solus into the ground. I think they should undo these things. That makes sense. But this should never be packaged as new content. It's deceiving and it's dishonest. It shouldn't be a section of the reveal panel. It should be a note in the patch notes for people to be like, oh, nice. I'm glad they did that. This is something you do because it's an important change, not because you need something to show off at the season reveal. If you can't fill up a season reveal with actual new content, you didn't do enough. And if you think I'm insane for expecting more, look at the first couple years of Siege. Every single season had 2 new operators and a whole new map every season. But now we take seasons worth of effort and resources to do modernized maps and dual front, the stuff that people don't really care about. It also takes a lot longer now to make operators that seem well placed and well balanced. And at least that is understandable because they're entering this ecosystem of operators that's much more difficult to place new one into because they interact with all of each other and there's a lot more going on. In my opinion, Deimos was like the last piece of new content that we got that was actually something that impacted the way the game played and the way the game felt. And that was a year and a half ago in Year 9 Season 1. That was 6 seasons of content ago. 6 seasons. Look at Year 9 Season 1 and tell me that the meta and the gameplay since then has changed much at all. It hasn't. The strategy and the gameplay feels nearly identical. The only difference is instead of spawn peeking with Doc and Rook, we're spawn peeking with Aruni and Tubero, the only people with the ACOGs. And instead of just doing strategy, we have shield strategy on top of that. So once you get rid of the shields, it's the same freaking game. And half the time people just don't even play them because they're so annoying or they're just banned. The game is not really any different at all from 6 seasons ago. At this point, this video is already pretty long, so I'm just going to rapid fire like a long list of issues that I still have with the game because I got so much more to say, but I don't want to spend all day talking about it. Things that stay way too long in the game, specifically bugs that take seasons to fix or years to patch. Example, the mic bug that stops you from using your mic that over half the people in the lobby get every game since Siege X or earlier. There's the reconnect bug that doesn't let you reconnect and forces you to get banned. That's been in the game for over a year. This has been in the game forever, where it kicks you out of the game, you try to reconnect, it won't let you reconnect, you get an error, you keep trying, you reset your game, you try again, doesn't let you, you get banned, you can't play, and you lose elo. How is this still in the game? Speaking of servers, we have DDoSing on console, along with elo trapping on console, stuff that's just going on nonstop all the time. Hit rejected being like the biggest feature of Siege X, trades, like you're just trading constantly since the release of Siege X, latency issues, packet loss issues, all of which kind of came around the time of Siege X and are still here. Hotfixes need to go out quicker and more often to deal with these major things that are impacting nearly every single game. Here's the thing, people don't like playing games that don't work properly. Between this and stale content, it's the #1 contributor for why people are leaving the game and stop playing. If a player loaded up Siege for the first time right now in like, let's say a year, they would play one game, their bullets wouldn't work properly, they'd get a connection bug, not be able to rejoin the game, and get banned. Or they would just play a cheater on their first match and not stand a chance. That player would never play the game again, or not for a very, very long time. I'm gonna go play CS2, I'm gonna go play Valorant, I'm gonna go play with my nuts. And I would know, because I loaded up my first unranked game for the first time that I played the game in months, and it was a cheater on my team. This guy's just cheating his ass off. Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's fun. And to be fair, if this wasn't my full-time job, I would not play the game again for a very long time. And that probably only wouldn't come until I hear news from the community that the game is awesome and it's actually playable and everyone's having fun, which comes from actual change, not just saying that you're going to do it. And the way I feel is how a lot of people feel. And it's why players are leaving. Why do you think Jinxie left the game? Do you think that might tell you something as to what is going on here? Also, seriously, what is the point of the test server? Some bugs get fixed before the season launches, but it lasts multiple weeks. Players have figured out the new content, and every content creator has posted multiple times about it before most people even get their hands on it. The season reveal happens before this, and by the time the update is out, who actually cares? The hype is gone. The hype for the new season is gone. And what do we get in exchange? Some of the bugs get fixed, the big ones tend to stay, and there's no balancing changes done at all. I mean, we tested Rank 2.0 on the test server, and it was absolutely trash from the first experience, but that didn't change anything, and Rank 2.0 is still in the game after 3 years. At least now they're actually showing players their visible skill with this new update that they're claiming to come out with. But why does it take 3 years to figure this out? I played it the first time and knew that this was garbage. All of this is to say that at this point, I've completely lost my trust in Ubisoft. As it stands right now, my faith in this game will only come from seeing it thrive again, not from words and promises delivered by Ubisoft. And yeah, I'm figuring out where to go from here. Some of you may have already seen my tweet saying that I might be leaving Siege soon, and I still stand by that even after, the recent news of the changes coming. Like I already mentioned at the start of this video, I've already started pursuing other projects with the goal of leaving Siege behind. That is my end goal, is stop making Siege content and start doing this instead. I haven't enjoyed this game for years, and I've been putting up with it for a long time, to be honest. But at the same time, I don't want to rely on the health of this game for my own personal health, mental health included. So I have to make these changes. Over the past couple months, I've reduced my time spent on making Siege content to only 2 days a week compared to 5 or 6 before. And I've also started 2 new YouTube channels because I still love making content and making videos. The first channel that I've really started on again is Daily Upgrade, which is a channel of mine that focuses on self-improvement. It's where I'm kind of taking these skills that I've learned through Siege, like logic and strategic thinking, and kind of applying them to how to learn in real life, with myself as the human test subject for that. So self-improvement at the end of the day is essentially what it is. I've already posted my first video over there, which basically just recaps my entire 10,000 hour journey, 10-year journey through Rainbow Six Siege, starting from 2015, going through my competitive history, and then becoming a full-time YouTuber, and the lessons that I've learned along that 10-year time frame. It is something that I'd highly recommend to anyone who's trying to pursue gaming as a career or pursuing YouTube as a career, so that you can kind of avoid the mistakes I made and hopefully do it a little bit better than I did. And then the other channel I've been working on is like a complete 180 of this, and it's called Crap Media. These are like sketch comedy videos I'm making with my friend Paul, and he is like an absolute madman and also just so hilarious. So this is something I'm actually really excited for. I've been obsessed with these. I've loved making every single second of them. Every week we record these, and I end up crying, laughing pretty much nearly every time because I just think he's the funniest person ever. But I mean, I have a personal relationship, so you might not think it's that funny. But if you're kind of tired of the heaviness of Siege, this is something a little lighter if you're interested in checking it out, but like no pressure or anything, just if you're interested in that kind of thing. So my current plan for the future is to keep this schedule, do Siege 2 days a week, and then work on these other channels in the meantime, with the goal eventually of pushing Siege out completely and having this take over as my full income, because Siege is the only thing that supports me right now, so I am tied to it directly at the moment. To the people out there who have watched my videos and supported me over the years, you guys are the goats. You've truly given me a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I have to thank you for it. Like, it's hard to express the amount of gratitude I really have for you guys, and I know it doesn't sound well placed because of how much I complain, but the complaints aren't directed at you. It's not directed at this job. It's not directed at my life. It's directed at the game, and it's the frustration through this game that I love. You know, this is my favorite game in the whole world. It's the only game I play anymore. You know what I mean? Seeing it kind of get to this place is really tough for me to deal with internally, but I don't want you to mistake that with a lack of gratitude for what you guys have given me. So thank you so much. I know my videos are designed to help you guys get better at the game, and I do see your comments. I see you guys thanking me, and a lot of times I don't even respond because I don't feel like I deserve it. Like, not in a sense that like I'm not good enough, but in a sense that like you do just as much, if not more, for me than I do for you, and you do not have to thank me for it because it is an equal exchange for the both of us. And I get to live my dream, you get to get better at the game, and everyone kind of gets better because of it. And that's really my goal when I make content, and when I do anything in life. It's like, if I can improve my life and your life at the same time, everyone's winning and everyone's happy. And at the end of the day, that's all I'm really trying to do. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of it. It means everything to me. And to the Siege team, to the devs, it's not all hate. I want to thank you as well for all of the hard work that you put into this game that I know you also love. And 99% of you are not the problem. You guys are just the ones doing your jobs. You're just the ones listening to what people are doing. Please don't take this as a personal attack, especially if you like worked on the dual front maps. If you worked on the things that I've criticized throughout this video, it's not your fault. You're not the one choosing these things. The work you have done is still amazing. It's more the ideation and the direction that I'm trying to criticize with this video. So please don't take it personally. And thank you for all of your hard work on this game, because it's the best game ever. It can be the best game ever again, maybe at some point. And one final note, remember guys, we might be upset. We might feel a certain way about the game. And while I do believe that honesty and feedback should be our #1 priority when discussing these things, it is important to also acknowledge that everyone's human, everyone's trying their best, and everyone has feelings. So let's not just be complete dicks about everything in our life, okay? Or at least try not to be. You know, that's the way I see it. If you don't see it, I understand that you might have a different perspective, but I probably still disagree with you. Anyway, just try your best. Just try your best, guys, and we'll see you soon.